front of you. We are now cashless in EasyJet e we only accept contact. Gentili passeggeri, vi chiediamo di tenere la cintura allacciata quando l'apposito segnale saremo in cabina. Per ora rilassatevi e godetevi il resto del volo con EasyJet.
Mamma, sopra le patate.
Starts with a B. Banana.
You're getting the zero?
Vai, bora. Vamos. Cheese da
Bom dia. Bom trabalho hoje. Obrigado. Nada.
So first when they get married.
Садись, поешь. Я вот там вместе.
Bridal wooden shoes. So that's a very nice story I would like to tell you.
For outside and for inside, golden. It takes 3 hours for one pair if you're a professional shoemaker. The right. Nut.
They have these in. Yeah.
Yes, mevrouw. Durft het jullie? Komt nog, die zit niet onder de brug.
and we need a volunteer to... Oh, it's like that. Big applause for Melusine.
Ja. Lachen. Wil je lachen? Lachen, lachen. Voor de katjes. Oh ja, dat is goed.
No, I'm doing videos.
Da și spune ce bine să tagă, mai ți-și nume? Ce? Ce fac filmul și pe el?
The front side of the boat at the point and the back side. You don't have an outboard motor. They did it with a stick. So that's why I'm your captain, so I can see my wife makes the house clean.
It cost over 150 euros one square meter.
Yeah, sure. Look.
Misschien kunnen we daar boven.
Ja, oké. Dankjewel.
Kan hij het alleen maar voor een zilveren vet?
Asta e acest picture.